Namaste, welcome to Buddha's teaching. Today we are talking about fires again. So, fires we are gonna talk about today uh, refers to has to do with two kinds of fires. So, fires, of course, is something that burn, right? So, what kind of fires we are talking about here? The two kinds of fires. One is the fires that has to do with physical form, okay, which of course when there's fire to the physical form, meaning the form, the body, the physical body, okay, then we have suffering, we have pain, right? And the other fire we're talking about is the fire that has to do with our mind, right? The fire that disturbs our mind. So those are the two things, the two fires that we are gonna talk about today. So as we all know, as soon as um, we are born, even though before we are born, we when we were in the tummy of our mom, of our mother, right? We depend, the baby depend on the mother, nutrients, nutritious and stuff like that feed us through the cord. So the baby depends on the mom, okay, to survive, to grow. And as soon as the baby is born, the baby needs constant care. The baby needs constant maintenance from the parents, from other people. Otherwise, um, of course, the body that do not receive food, receive proper care, then that body, the physical form, will break down and disintegrate it. So as soon as we are born, we are in the constant upkeep. We are in the constant maintenance, that we have to do it all the time in order to keep the forms living, in order to keep the form survive, in order to keep our physical form grow, right? So for all living being, and this does not just apply to human being, we are talking about all living being. All living being, as soon as they're born, all living being goes through the same thing. Have to fight, have to keep going, have to find food, right, to survive. Otherwise, the body breaks down. So this is one. It is an effort that all living beings have to do or needs to do. Okay, and that is one form of suffering that we oftentimes overlook, okay, because it's nature, it's natural to us that we are born, this is what we all have to do. So it's an embedded it's an embedded idea or instinct in a way for us that is normal. But if we think about it, break down the ideas of growing up, of maintaining, then we can see that okay, so that is one form of um, pain, one form of suffering, believe it or not, that we all have to keep doing, keep maintaining, keep going in order for the body to survive, right? Right now, all of us, or most of us, why do we need to go to school? Why do we need to go to work? It is what it comes down to is that we go to school because we need to get a education in order to get a good job, right? And in hoping that good job will return us good money for survival and for pleasure stuff, for happiness. So the basic, the fundamental idea behind it is that we doing it is because we know that we have to support this body. Somebody has to support this body, and as we grow older and older, we will have to stand on our own 2 feet, because eventually our parents or whoever takes care of us will pass away, will go away. So we have to be able to do it on our own. So because of that, that's why we go to school, and eventually we go to work and all that. So yes, so that is a form of suffering. I mean, we all can attest to it, that we have to get up every morning, we have to fight the commute, all right? We have to even fight to get up for a lot of us, okay? And at work, it's tiring. We work 5, 6, 7 days a week, 8 hours, 10 hours, a lot of people. And why are we doing all this? It's to provide, right? We're doing it, it's in great effort for every single one, every single living being, okay, to maintain, all right, to keep up, to keep this body going. Without that, then we know the body can have problem if we don't have proper nutritious things that make the body healthy. So that is one part of the suffering that we sort of like agree to take on, okay? As we are born into this world, we said, okay, so that is part of life, right? So we sort of naturally agree to take on. But in any case, it is still what it is, all right? We have to make effort, and that is one kind of pain or suffering that we all have to go through, okay? So and of course, the body, when the body is not healthy, when the body is sick, right, from whatever reason, whether something happened through virus attack us from outside, okay, or something that does not go well inside, okay, whether things that there are a lot of people who inherit different kinds of sickness from I don't know, parents or grandparents or great grandparents. It's a heritage things that pass on, especially like people who have history of having cancer and diabetes and things like that. So those kind of things, it pass on from generation to generation, and it pops up within us. So that is pain to the body, right? So now the body has to deal with that also, not just by growing up, but we also have to take care of this. So that is the pain, that is the suffering that has to do with our physical form. Okay, so now on the mental side, right? And the mental side is the side that is the main teaching of the Buddha, right? the Buddha's main teaching is about mental health. Okay, so so now that we understand, well, now that we know that there's fire, the fire means something that is burning, right? That is hot, that burns. Okay, so when we have sickness in a form, in a physical body, that is something that is disturbing the body, right? So, and the other fire that is burn also is the fire within our mind. Okay, so the fire within our mind, of course, disturb us, right? It does not let us stay still. The mind, when the mind is agitated, when the mind is disturbed, that's what it means, that the mind is on fire, right? The mind is on fire. The mind is not at peace. That's why the mind is agitated. So the a disturbed mind, or the mind that is on fire, okay, it can happen whether we feel we are sick or not. Okay, and of course the body can influence our mind, and the mind can influence our body, right? We all know that. And when we are sick, of course, the body can influence our mind and make our mind thinking about negative things, right? Have negative emotion, have sadness, and have worries and all that. And that is a disturbed mind, right? So the body can disturb the mind, can influence the mind that way, right? To make the mind worry, make the mind not happy, sad, and depressed. So when the mind is not happy, when the mind is not at peace, the mind is disturbed. That's what we call the mind that is on fire. It's just that there are different kinds of fires that disturb our mind. So whether we are sick or we are healthy, right? A disturbed mind will not give us peace. Okay. Now, so that means whether we have money or we don't have money. Okay. So it doesn't matter what kind of title you have at work, what kind of degree you have from school. Okay. A disturbed mind is a disturbed mind. It has nothing to do with our status in the society, all right, with our popularity in whatever group that we belong to, and all that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many millions or gazillion we have. When the mind is disturbed, the mind is disturbed. See, the mind does not discriminate. Okay. If you're rich, then we won't disturb the person who is rich. It's not like that, because the mind is the mind. When the mind is disturbed, the mind is disturbed. Okay, so a disturbed mind is a mind that is on fire, is agitated. Okay, so a disturbed mind is a mind that has no protection, no refuge, or feel no security. Right? It's in the teaching. This is example that the mind like that, the mind that is disturbed, is a mind that it's like a house that with a leaky roof, right? Or there's hole in the walls that has no security. When it rains, then you're gonna get wet, okay, or you're gonna get cold, wet, or from the wall that is has hole. It's not well protected. That's what a disturbed mind means. Okay, and so of course that is the opposite of undisturbed mind, right? So in undisturbed mind, the mind that is at peace, the mind that is protected, The mind that is calm is the mind that is has a good roof, right? Has a solid wall. That doesn't matter what kind of storm that goes on outside. You are inside. You are okay, right? You're not you don't get caught in the winds, in the rain, in the storm that goes on outside. That is an undisturbed mind, right? So what are the winds that can disturb the 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 mind? Of course, we all know about the 8 worldly winds, right? And the winds that is based, the worldly wind that's based on greed, based on anger, uh, hatred, right? Based on ignorance, and based on fear. The mind that is has sadness or depression, all of that, those are the worldly winds that disturb the mind. Okay, that is the mind, okay, that has no refuge in itself. Okay, so the mind that is undisturbed is the opposite. The mind that is undisturbed is the mind that is calm, the mind that is protected, and that mind has itself as its refuge. Okay, so that mind is calm, that mind is at peace within itself. Okay, regardless of the worldly winds. It doesn't matter what kind of winds, okay, out there, the anger, the hatred, the ignorance, the jealousy, the and everything else, they're all in the negative emotion. Doesn't affect. It doesn't have any effects on an undisturbed mind. It does not have any effect on an enlightened mind, in another word. Okay, so that mind is the mind that has refuge in itself, or we can say that it's the mind that has confidence. Okay, and it's the mind that also, you can say, that has already taken refuge in the triple gems, because that mind already has received a teaching and understand the teaching uh, from the triple gems. So now that mind is calm, that mind is clear, and that mind is secure and not disturbed, right? So now the problem is that, okay, it's a lot easier said than done. For a lot of people do not know what the mental fires are. Okay, we all know that when we are sick, okay, that we are sick, okay, we don't feel good, right? We have to do something about it, okay? And I'm talking about, the pain in the body and all that. We know, for all of us, we know, okay, right? So that much, pretty much every living being knows that when we are physically sick, we know, okay? So in another word, we are aware of the fire, right? I'm going to say the fire that is happening, that is disturbing the physicality, right? So because of that, we have to take care of it, right? But the fire that burns inside our mind is a very subtle mind, or a very elusive mind that we are not aware of. And not even that, we think that that fire is normal, or sometimes it's even good to have that fire inside, believe it or not. Okay, so that is the problem that we all have. Okay, the fire in the mind. Okay, not many people get got to come across the lesson about this very phenomenon of the fire that is inside their mind. Because of that, they don't know what that fire is. Okay, so the fire, of course, now, and for us who have been learning Buddha's teaching, we all know that the fires within are the fire of greed, of course, right? The fire of anger, of hatred, the fire of jealousy, right? And all that. Okay, those are the fire that disturb our mind. Okay, but unfortunately, for most of the people, this is normal. So because of that, people overlook this fire that disturb the mind. So now the mind, when the mind is agitated, when the mind is on fire, people will just act according to whatever fires that is burning inside, without knowing that is a fire that is disturbing the mind. They become accustomed to that fire. People have been living with that fire through uh, through their entire life. So it is a normal thing for most of the people. Okay, uh, most other people do not recognize that those are the fires, those are the disturbance that make the mind not at peace, not secure, make the mind agitated. Okay, that is the unfortunate things for most people. People who are lost in fame and fortune, okay, because of greed, and of course that kind of mind that based on greed, which is a form of fire, that mind think that greed is good. Okay, so now people even think that that fire inside them is good. See, they even go that far, okay, to think that the greed fire is good, anger is good, okay. They even like the fire, all right, quote unquote, like. So and because of that, when the mind is caught up in this kind of worldly winds, the mind is agitated, right? The mind is disturbed. So there you go. Regardless of your ranking file, your status, your well or whatnot in society, it doesn't matter. The mind is disturbed, and and people have identified themselves with that disturbed mind as normal mind. Okay, so when people are when people look at themselves as what those uh, what what those minds are, then how can they get become awake from that mind? They cannot. Okay, people cannot see that as a disturbed mind, because whatever mind that is who they are. All right, so that is the unfortunate thing. That is who they are. When they are disturbed with whatever unwholesome mind faculties, that is who they are. That is, and because of that, there is no way that they can wake up to see the reality, to see the truth about the disturbed mind and the mind that is not disturbed. Okay? And for the enlightened one, for the awakened one, people see the mind that is disturbed and the mind that is not disturbed. Okay, instead of identifying themselves, right, with all those agitation or disturbance in the mind, right, awakened person, awakened people realize they can recognize an agitated mind within, right? Not with other people, but within. Okay, when the fire arises within. All right, let's say, for example, somebody says something, the fire arises, and then the awakened mind first realize, oh, there's fire within. Okay, so that is already a great step, a great leap ahead of many people who never recognize this. Okay, the awakened, and of course, and we all know there are different stages of enlightenment, of awaken, right? But at least for people who come to understand that, okay, the mind has different states, right? Come at least when people come to recognize that, okay, there's mind that is disturbed and there is mind that is not disturbed, and there's mind and the reason behind it. Okay, a disturbed mind is based on what? Based on greed, based on anger, right, and all that. And then when that happens, at least when they become real, they come to realize that thing that is happening inside them, that's at least the very first step of awakening, right? It's the very first step of awakening that, oh, I have disturbed mind right now. Okay, let's say somebody say something or do something, and then you become agitated, you become not happy. So when that happens, and then you come to realize that emotion within, at least that is a great thing, right? You come to realize, oh, my mind is now disturbed, my mind now is agitated. See, at least now you can sort of step back from that emotion and stop identify yourself with that emotion and just look at it as a disturbed mind, a mind that has negative emotion. See, that's the difference, and that is a great step ahead of a lot of people, because a lot of people identify themselves with the emotion. Okay, so for the awakened mind, when they see the benefit of a undisturbed mind, the mind that is that is at peace, then they start to the practice is that, okay, once they truly realize that, okay, what is a peaceful mind and what is a disturbed mind and what is an undisturbed mind, okay, and why is the mind disturbed, based on the what kind of triggers, right? As we have gone over in earlier episodes in the talk, okay, what are the triggers and things like that, okay, and the reason behind it, okay, all all of that. So now people, awakened people, can step back and look at this, and this is the cultivation, this is the work that they need to practice on themselves, practice within, meaning when the mind is right, when the mind is disturbed, they become aware. So let's say somebody say something to irk you, to make you upset, and right away you say, oh, now my mind is upset. But why is my mind upset? And that there are times that the mind is upset, so it's kind of, you have a strong emotion arise, and the mind keep clinging on to that feeling, all right, for some time, and this is the fight that you have, that we all have, at least for the awakened one who becomes aware of this within, okay, and then you say, oh, that person is making me mad, and especially usually the person who makes us mad are the person who are closest to us, right? Most of the time it's our spouse, and our children, or our parents, and siblings, of course, most of the time. So those are the people who make us mad, okay? and then we cling on to that emotion, mad. You mad at what they say, what they call, and the clinging to it, okay, and now you realize, and for the beginner, all right, a beginner, or there are people who start to practice, to start to cultivate their mind, okay, now that they understand, it's, they can realize that, oh, the mind is not that easy to not manipulate, to cultivate, because the mind our mind has been in this habit for a long time, right? When the mind is mad, when you're mad, you just become mad or upset or whatnot. But now that you understand that, okay, there's a different way to deal with this anger, and but this clinging inside, that is still clinging, and the mind is still thinking about the anger. The mind is still thinking to, that feeling, that disturb, that the fire that keep burning inside. Then you say, oh wow, okay, so this is tough. But at least you realize that, okay, that fire is not easy, right? It's not easy to put out, but at least you know, okay, I need to learn how to put it out. So that is the practice. That is the practice of letting go, right? So, but how do we let go, right? Things like that. So we don't suppress anger, of course, emotion is emotion, but it requires us to understand, why is it that we need to let go? What is the reason behind it? Okay, so that is the teaching, right? Because we cling, the thinking is of the what we call the self, right? The thinking is, of course, is about self, and the self is clinging to the ideology. The self is clinging to the I. Oh, he looked down at me, right? Scold me and things like that. So there we go. There's the I that is lying underneath, that the self is trying to protect, to cling on to. And that's why the Buddha taught about what is self. Okay, you see the breakdown. It keeps going down further and further. So the awakened one, okay, can see the inner fires, right, and can see, oh, that is an unwholesome mind faculty, the own unwholesome mind that arises within. So this is my practice. This is the practice that the awakened mind do every day. The awakened mind practice to cultivate their very own mind, to clean their own mind, okay, from these fires, the fires that keep burning inside, okay. And once we realize this, we can see that fires are everywhere. That happens all the time within us, right? There's all kinds of fires, mini fires, big fires, right? Fires that arise by seeing, fires that arise by hearing, fire that arise by smelling, by tasting food or drink, or by touching, right? The tactile sensation, or fire that arise by thinking. Okay, see, all of these fire arise within. Then, all right, for the awakened mind, they start to realize that, oh, there's so many fires inside. This is the thing. This is the fires that I need to put down. Okay, so, and that is the practice. Okay, and that is the practice of an awakened mind, the mind that is learning to cultivate peace within, right? Not in other person, not in other people. All right, what other people do is their own karma, it's their own business. But what we do is our own karma, and it's our own business. Okay, so if we want to have a peaceful mind, a calm mind, a content mind, okay, which is within. So that is the mind that we need to tame. All right, we don't tame other people's mind. Just trying to tame our very own mind is already a huge task, right, for us to deal with, right? Imagine you want to tame other people's mind. It's next to impossible, right? But at least if you start with your own, we start with ourselves, okay? Learn to cultivate this very own mind within, okay? This is the step. This is the very first step of an awakened mind. The mind that is searching for peace, the mind that is searching for contentment, the mind that is searching for calm, the mind that is searching for true happiness, which is arise from within, right? Not depending on anything outside, because when the fires burn, it burns inside. The fire does not burn outside. When the fires burn, it burns in the mind. It does not burn outside. Other people, they also have their own fire. But first, before you try to put out other people's fires, put out our very own fire first. Okay, this is what it means taking refuge in ourselves. Okay, when we take refuge in ourselves, it means we will learn how to put out fire within. Right? We learn to put out fires within, not fires in other people. Okay, so those are the two fires that I like to share with you all today. The fires of the physical body, okay, which is the pain, right, the sickness or whatnot that the body has to go through, okay, that we have to maintain, and that is one kind of fire, okay, that's a physical form fire. And the other fire is the fire in the mind that we also have to learn how to deal with that fire, how to put out that fire. So now with the two fires together, that now you can see that why the Buddha say in the first noble truth, what is the first noble truth? Life is suffering. Okay, so yes, we can sit back, and after we see this, we can sort of like chuckle a little bit and say, oh, I see what the Buddha is talking about. Okay, once we are born, this is what we have to go through. Physically, everyone goes through very similar things, right? Birth, aging, sickness, and then death, every living being. And on top of that, for us humans especially, we have this mind that we also have to learn of it, learn about it, right? Learn about this fire. It's the intelligence that we are given. It's like a sword with two edges, right? If we know how to use it well, it will work well for us. But if we don't know how to work it, then it can cut us, and it cuts most of the people. All right, because we don't know how to use this sword, right? So for the awakened one understand this sword, right? So the awakened one know how to protect himself or herself. Okay, so that's all I have today. Hopefully you all get something out of this episode. Until next time, wish you all well. I like to pay respect to the triple gems. I like to pay respect to the Buddha. I like to pay respect to the Dharma. And I like to pay respect to the Sangha. Namaste, everyone.